What's good, fellow noobs? It's been a while since I last reviewed a single game, hasn't it? Well, even if it may not seem like it, I really enjoy reviewing a game and getting my opinion out to the public. Also, can we leave behind the disastrous flop that was Night Kingdom Day? I think it won't become a yearly tradition. So I was getting desperate to review a game or update, until one of my subscribers suggested their game. Spiral fans commented, "Could you review my game called Yet Another RPG? Me and my friends could use the exposure and feedback." It was an offer I couldn't decline, so here we are to review this game. Now, he did clarify later that it was gonna be reworked in the future, which means it's perfect because any changes I suggest could be added to the revamp. So let's start. Yet another RPG, another diamond in the rough. Oh boy, what an experience for sure. I wasn't expecting much from this game due to the thumbnails and the name. I thought it'd be kind of scuffed, but it blew me away on my first few minutes from the sheer quality. It wasn't hard to tell they put a lot of effort into this project. The animations were very good and it felt like a fresh start. Another RPG. I was hoping it wouldn't have too many problems, so I wouldn't leave the developers with a sad face, and it didn't. At first, that is. After a few minutes of playing, the game's problems started to shine through, but they shined way too hard, like a fucking blinding light. But okay, let's do this just like we did with Periastron Stars. First the good things to soften the blow, and then the horrible parts. The good things. The music is good, yeah, most of it is from Terraria and it was very noticeable, but the music choice was generally a pretty good part of the game, and it made it feel a lot better to play. The animations are polished, barely a point because animations are mere visuals, but yeah, sometimes they go nicely with a game to complement it, and when there's cons it makes them less painful. The building is really good. Something that gets often overlooked in games like these is the building, but it's one of those things that you don't notice when it's there, but when it's not there, you really wish it was there, so everything was better. The building was phenomenal, and the game had a clear art style or art direction, which is something I really like in games. The tutorial was good. I mean, it was pretty basic, but it got the job done. Better than no tutorial anyways, right?
I am running out of ideas.
The bad things. Now buckle up, because oh boy, I got some things to say here. Devs, please don't take it too hard if you're watching, but do consider fixing or at least improving upon the following things, because they would make the experience just so much better. The horrendous balancing. I'd be lying hard as fuck if I told you the enemies weren't the most horrendous, unreasonably high damage bullshit I've seen in a long time. The grass monsters that deal 20 damage and are the first enemies and come in big groups? In short, the early game was fucking painful. Not only because it was slow as fuck, which I'll cover later, but 2 or more early monsters could easily kill you and make you have to walk all the way from the spawn to the trees. But okay, you get used to the grass monsters and the spiders since they're easy. What's next? The fucking demon eyes. These things deserve their own point because they are horrendous. They're not fair and not fun to fight. I get the idea they were going for. In the day the enemies are easy and at night very hard, to create this cool contrast between the hours. But 30 contact damage without cooldown, what the hell? Not to mention they still come in big groups and replace all the grass enemies. I think it would have been a bit better if they became like a 1 in 5 at night. So like in a pack of grass monsters there's 1 or 2 of these. But replacing every grass enemy, a bit overkill. The painful lack of clarity. The tutorial was good, but there are other things that could be clarified better outside of it. First of all, make the recipes be built into the crafting UI and update as you unlock items. I know, Minecraft did it first, you're gonna look generic, but this new idea you tried, let me tell you, was not much better. Having to pull out a book to remind myself of every recipe all the time wasn't just time consuming but also unnecessary. But hey, I know it could have been a lot worse, so at least I can give you that. The other thing with this point is the living sapling. I'm not sure there are more items summoned bosses, but the living sapling being the first and only one I discovered needs clarification a lot. It would be cool if the description had at the end, quote unquote, and in parentheses, boss, because then I would know, oh, that living tree thing it's gonna make, yeah, that's a boss. But no, I spawned it the first time thinking it'd be an ally like the Iron Golem, in the middle of a demon eye infested forest at night, and I obviously got my shit rocked. And now the last and most painful point, the game is a slog. I'm sorry, but it just is. The trees aren't much of a problem, I think you can keep them giving that amount of wood and being that durable. But the stones are where the problem starts. They take way too long to mine and give barely any stone. And even after I upgraded to a stone pickaxe, it was still noticeably slow. Just because it's 5% faster doesn't mean it's noticeable, come on. It was barely a fucking change, and for how many rocks I had to mine through to get it, it felt a lot like a scam. The problem doesn't end there. You can't run, which normally wouldn't be a problem if the game didn't have a giant world. Now, I do acknowledge that there are the boots, which do make you faster, but I think there still should be a run button, and that way you can feel fast, and with boots, even faster. The last thing to add here is that I had to stop playing, because every good thing required iron, but I looked everywhere I could, there was no traces of iron anywhere. The plan was to get to level 20 and start writing the review, but I just couldn't find that iron no matter how much I looked for it, and I even stumbled upon the desert and Snowville, which I think are completely useless places, or well, at least nothing hinted at their purpose. They had no items and no enemies, and no one told you about them or what changes in them. They just exist, to my knowledge. That's what I saw from my perspective. So I had to leave at level 18 because I had gotten stressed looking for that iron, plus the demon eyes that instantly killed me if I walked out at night. And that's the end of my review of yet another RPG. It's another diamond in the rough like Periastron Stars, and since it's seemingly in its early stages, it would be really good to start improving it now. Obviously you're not obligated to remove everything I said, they're just suggestions based on my opinion and my experience, and you don't have to feel forced to change everything in your game. And yes, I know what a lot of people are gonna say, oh, you only got to level 18, that means you barely played. Listen, I don't like games that take tons of time to get good, because then, when that time has passed, is it really worth it? It's like One Piece. Maybe it gets good at episode 69,000, but am I really gonna feel like it's worth it after wasting hundreds or thousands of hours of my life watching it? This is why I don't like games like Decaying Winter. With that one, people claim and glaze, oh, it's a big difficulty curve. To me, it just feels like the game doesn't care if you feel good or bad playing it, and just wants you to spend hours playing it. If the game doesn't care about teaching the player anything, it's not a cool experience where you find things out yourself. It's a shitty experience where the mechanics are unexplained and you feel like a lost child in a mall. And that's why I like Cuphead and Geometry Dash. They're super hard, but the learning curve is an actual learning curve, and when you win you feel accomplished, and you never get demotivated that everything that's coming is harder. Again, it's not a rage review where I found something bad and instantly quit. You can see, I gave the game a good chance and played for a good hour or more. If you think I left too early, you can tell me that, and I might play again. But this also tells you when people probably stop playing, so you can improve that part of the game and lose less players. Kind of went off there, but yeah. Recommend the game if you like Terraria, I guess? I don't like Terraria, so maybe that's why this review ended up a bit harsh. It's not a bad RPG at all, don't get me wrong. It just has a few problems that drag it down. I say that a lot about games, don't I? Oh, I was gonna mention something important about my games here, but I felt it'd be kind of scummy to talk about a game and then talk about my own games later on, so I'll just make a community post for it in a bit. Thanks for watching, noobs.